Namaskaram, എൻ്റെ പേര് Tabitha from Naadan English. നമ്മൾ ഒരു foreign ഭാഷ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ പല തെറ്റുകളും വരുത്താം. മലയാളികൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ Indians generally Englishൽ വരുത്തുന്ന ചില തെറ്റുകൾ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. First one is I am having a fever, whereas you should say I have a fever, because having is used for actions. For example, I'm having lunch. But fever is a noun, so for a noun you should use have. I have a fever. Next is myself, I am Tabitha, whereas you should just say I am Tabitha. This is because myself and I are both talking about me. Therefore, it's unnecessary to say both of them. Myself ഒരു unnecessary word ആണ്. I am Tabitha മാത്രം മതി. I'm from Kerala only. Now, I've heard this a lot, and I know that when Indians speak English, you use it to emphasize a point. You're using it to emphasize that you are from Kerala and not from anywhere else. But you will not hear a native speaker say this. You would hear a native speaker say, I'm from Kerala. Because once again, only is unnecessary. It's just an extra word. If you say, I am from Kerala, that's enough. People know that you are only from Kerala. You're not from anywhere else. Next, we have more easier, whereas you should just say easier or more easy. This is because easier, the definition of easier is more easy. Therefore, more easier is wrong. More unnecessary ആണ്. Easier മാത്രം മതി. Or more easy. The next one is marriage anniversary, whereas the correct one is wedding anniversary. This is because marriage ഒരു ongoing relationship ആണ്. So it can't be an anniversary of something that is currently happening, a relationship that's happening. Whereas wedding is a one-time event, so you can have the anniversary of a one-time event. Therefore, you should say wedding anniversary, and you should say come to my wedding. Next one is myself and my sister. You should say my sister and I. In English, when we are talking about myself and someone else, we put the other person's name or their relationship to us first. So we got sister first, my sister, and then we end with and I, my sister and I. Next is ask to him, whereas you should actually say ask him. Ask actually means to direct a question to someone. Therefore, the extra to, ask to, is unnecessary. Ask him, muddy. Now we have I go to school by walk, whereas you should say I go to school by foot or I walk to school. This is because you say by, for example, I go to school by car, I go to school by bus, because the car and the bus are what you are using to go to school. So technically, you are not using a walk to go to school. You are using your feet to go to school. So you would say, I go to school by foot. Or, bit easier way is I walk to school. Reply back. So you should actually say reply. Again, this is similar to ask. The definition of reply is to answer back. Therefore, back, unnecessary word on it. Just say reply. So I replied to her. Please reply. The next one is probably one of the most common mistakes I have heard, which is my leg is paining. Whereas you should say my leg is hurting. This is because pain is a noun. It's not a verb. So you can't add verb endings to it, such as ing. The verb for pain is hurting. So if you have pain in your leg, you can say my leg is hurting. Or you can say I have leg pain. So next is one that I have heard more in North India, which is take two each. Whereas you should say take 2 each. Now I know in Indian languages you say a word twice to add emphasis, but we really don't do this at all in English. And I've heard it being said in Malayalam like vegam vegam wa. Saying the word once is really enough, and if you say it twice it will bring confusion to the person trying to understand you. So simply take 2 each is enough. Next is you're coming na, whereas you should say you're coming, aren't you? Now na is a common question tag in Indian languages, but in English we have different question tags, and I have a whole video explaining question tags in English, and I will add the link to that in the description box below. So please watch that if you want to find out more. But don't use na as a question tag when speaking English. Use something else. For example, in this sentence we would say, you're coming, aren't you? The next one is do one thing, or I'll tell you one thing. Whereas you should say, oh, please do something, or I'll tell you something. And I'll know once again, this is quite often used for emphasis, one thing, or when you're giving someone some advice. But we won't really say this in English. We would just usually say something, and of course add please onto it. So just saying, please do this something, or I'll tell you something, rather than one thing, will help you to be a lot more easily understood by others who speak English. So the next one is I have a doubt, whereas you should say I have a question. This is because in English, I have a doubt has quite a negative meaning. For example, you could say I have a doubt when you don't quite trust someone, or you're doubting someone's credibility. So to communicate in a clear way, you should say I have a question. So that concludes this video on common mistakes that Indians make while speaking English. I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe, and leave me a comment if you found this video helpful. Adutalesanil Kana.